CBS 4's Brian Andrews joins us now. And Brian, did the pilot walk away uninjured? Do we know?
Well, the short answer is we don't know, but we do know he was able to speak with National Transportation Safety Board investigators. They also spoke to the 3 other members of the flight crew. However, we are hearing this was the very first time that pilot was landing a 777 at SFO.
Oh my God.
Cell phone video captured the accident, the tail breaking off, the cloud of dust and smoke, and the fuselage almost doing a cartwheel before coming to rest.
Oh my God.
Those in the rear of the jetliner bore the brunt of the crash, suffering spine and neck injuries. Police officer Jim Cunningham was one of the first to climb inside and saw people trapped.
Yes, they're in their seats, and because they have back injuries, they can't move out of their seats.
Most passengers in the front of the plane were unharmed. Eugene Raw was in first class.
As soon as the plane stopped, there was the moment of silence. No one saying anything, no one screamed, no one cried for just a few seconds before people cry again. And I looked around, everyone was seated. I don't see any serious injury in the front part of the aircraft.
Kitty John climbed out a hole in the fuselage.
I have the time to walk out because the hole is very close to my seat. So I take my baby and just take my carry-on baggage, so walk out.
Some passengers were trapped in the jumble of seats and luggage. 2 slides inflated inside the plane, briefly trapping one of the flight attendants. The fire that eventually burned away much of the roof spread slowly, giving passengers a chance to escape. The 2 passengers who died, teenage girls from China heading to summer camp in the U.S. One of them may have been run over by a responding emergency vehicle.
We are still looking at this issue. It is a very serious issue, and we want to understand it.
The initial examination of the 777's flight voice and data recorders indicate everything was normal when the crew turned off the autopilot on final approach. The weather was perfect and conversation with the tower was routine. A normal descent to the runway requires an angle that keeps planes well above the waters of San Francisco Bay. The plane was also flying about 40 miles an hour slower than a 777 does seconds before touchdown. At 7 seconds before impact, a member of the flight crew called for increased speed. At 4 seconds prior to impact, the flight controls began to shake, a signal the plane was losing lift or stalling. And with just 1.5 seconds before hitting the ground, the flight crew attempted to abort the landing and initiate a go-around.
The NTSB says investigators found pieces of the plane's tail section in the water beyond the runway, evidence the impact happened long before the runway began.
And Brian, I read some AP reports that said the spinal cord injuries on the people were very similar, and it had to do with the seatbelt.
Well, yeah, think about it. You got the seatbelt right across you. Boom, you go forward, you snap back. That's going to cause problems in your C4, your C5, all the way up there in your spinal cord. And it's also reigniting the debate over whether or not the airline should be putting in those shoulder straps.
Right, but that might cause more neck problems.
Well, who knows?
So the debate continues. Brian Andrews, thanks for your live report. CBS 4's Brian Andrews joins us live with more on that. Brian?
Well, this is a case where art meets ammo, minus the booze and the finger food and the bright colors. The former police officers and military who run the lock and load range say that it's going to be something different and should fit right in with Wynwood's funky vibe. The concept here is shoot first and visit a nearby art gallery or restaurant later.
We want to be part of the whole experience. We don't want to just be a place where somebody comes to put holes in a target.
Lock and Load is an upscale gun range where you can unload at your leisure.
We're just looking to show the positive side of the sport of firearms.
Where a novice like myself,
Left hand
right here
on the pistol grip,
can learn how to handle some major firepower in a controlled environment under the constant supervision of former police and military.
We're not going to put firearms in the hands of somebody who shouldn't have one and shouldn't even be here.
Whether you're a guy or a girl, the team at Lock and Load says weapons tactics and marksmanship is a sport for everyone.
We're here for the sport aspect of it. It's a nice closed, safe, supervised environment.
There are weapons here you've probably only seen in the movies.
We've got everything from the Tommy gun from the 30s, from the gangster days, to firearms from modern warfare, the H&K 416. We've got a SAW. We've got G36s. We've got something that very few people have seen, a Chris Vector.
There's a menu of firepower packages, all a la carte, named for James Bond to the Israeli Special Forces.
This place is a place for people, the enthusiasts, the curious, somebody just looking for an interesting, new, fun night out.
A group of local investors first came up with the idea 3 years ago and put in hundreds of thousands of dollars to the project, soundproofing an old warehouse, interior designing the place, trying to change the image of what you might think of a typical gun range. Be proud of your shot. Take that target home with you. A piece of art, they say, from Wynwood's newest art installment, designed to fit in with the trendy neighborhood vibe and attract a high-end clientele with prices from $100 to $500 for single sessions. And considering Wynwood's past, Lock and Load considers it to be the safest place in the neighborhood, with the staff packing heat and the place designed for security and safety. And of course, an old military OH-58 chopper hanging from the ceiling.
This is not your average target range.
Shoot packages run anywhere from $100 up to $600, and yes, anybody can walk in off the street and have this machine gun experience. The memberships, though, they're going to vet you, they're going to make sure that you're not a felon, and there's going to be somebody with you every step of the way. The range officially opens to the public here in Wynwood next week. Reporting live, I'm Brian Andrews, CBS 4 News Tonight.
Our team coverage moves now to CBS 4's Brian Andrews. He's live at Miami City Hall in Coconut Grove with more reaction to the report. Brian?
Well, Mayor Regalado tells me he thinks the report was harsh, but not unexpected, clearly outlining a time that he says has passed in the City of Miami Police Department.
I think that, we have this cyclical thing in the police department, and it's time to stop. I am happy that we have closure because we can send the message to the community that something is being done about their request for information and action if that is the case.
The 33 shootings in question looked at by the DOJ happened under the administration of former Chiefs Timoney and Exposito. Former Chief Exposito, we reached him by phone this afternoon. He said he tried to give a statement to the DOJ in this investigation, but that they never called him, and he is taking issue with the findings.
Part of the problem here, why I think that the feds did not call me in for a statement, is that they didn't want for it to become public some information that was detrimental to the feds. And that is that in one of our shootings, our officer fired one shot, the federal agent shot 9 times. In the last shooting, which was Goyo's shooting, the federal agent that was driving the vehicle put Goyo in a position of danger, and that may have been the cause for the shooting to begin with, and they didn't want that information to come out.
Exposito went on to say that he believes the report is extremely vague and that he thinks it was rushed through because of political pressure from Congresswoman Frederica Wilson. You'll be hearing from her at 6 o'clock tonight, and you'll be hearing from the family of one of the young men who was killed in one of those shootings probed by the DOJ. Reporting live from City Hall, I'm Brian Andrews, CBS 4 News.